Sugar Hill Stewart does a interview with Boxing Social, and they go on to ask him about Anthony Joshua and what he can do to pull out a victory in the rematch with Alexander Usyk. And he was talking about his tactics and what weight he should come in at and all that other stuff. And Sugar Hill Stewart says, it doesn't matter what weight he comes in at or none of that stuff. It's the mindset. None of that is going to matter if Anthony Joshua doesn't have the right mindset. And this couples back when I go talking about Anthony Joshua hiring Robert Garcia. A lot of people see it now that hiring Robert Garcia is not going to make too much of a difference, because to tell you the truth, Anthony Joshua could have pulled off the win, before hiring Robert Garcia. It's his mentality and it's how he thinks of himself. And speaking of Robert Garcia, I was looking at some interviews that he did, and where he goes to talk about what Joshua told him, what was going on in the camp and what was going on in his mind when he took on Alexander Usyk. And he goes on to say, from what Anthony Joshua told me, his only ambition, his only goal stepping in that ring with Alexander Usyk was to go 12 rounds. That's amazing. At that level, at that height of his career, his popularity, his fame, and getting that close to being the undisputed heavyweight champion, which is a hell of a crown, for your only ambition to go into a fight with what Anthony Joshua and his team know would have been one of his toughest, smartest, high IQ opponents, to go in there and your only ambition is to go 12 rounds, speaks on the mindset that I've been talking about and that Sugar Hill Stewart is talking about, and what everybody else is saying with training with Robert Garcia. How, when you are the heavyweight champion and unified heavyweight champion and you holding all those straps, but one, how do you go into a fight with the caliber opponent that Usyk is, with only trying to go and only interested in surviving 12 rounds with him? Once again, it's his mindset. And one thing that you could say about Anthony Joshua is his cage is easily rattled. He let what he hear and what people say, it gets to Anthony Joshua, and he lets it be known, because a lot of people was, they was big up in Alexander Usyk. Now, Alexander Usyk is a good fighter. They're overshooting Alexander Usyk a little bit too much. He's not as great or as good as people, keep making it out to be. He's very beatable, but he's a good, high quality opponent, especially for somebody at that weight. He's very cerebral, he's very springy, he has good punch selection and all that. And I think, just like I said last time, I think Anthony Joshua, as far as what they were saying about Usyk, I think Anthony Joshua was envious of it. He was jealous of it. He didn't like it. It was an accolade that he wanted to take away from Usyk, basically stemming from Tyson Fury saying he's a big, stiff robot who can't. That stuff gets to Anthony Joshua, and you see it. You're like, oh, I'm a big, stiff robot, huh? Let me show them that I can box. Let me go in here with this high IQ guy and let me try to outbox the boxer. That was unintelligent, number one. And I don't think it was nothing his team actually came up with. I think that was Anthony Joshua's idea, and his team just followed through with it. Because I refuse to believe that nobody on this team stopped and told him, say, look, maybe with this guy, we need to stick to our best attributes and stick to what our natural advantages, and maybe try to work on becoming this boxing IQ wizard on some other people. But for right now, the stakes is too high. It's too much on the line. Let's just pull out the win. We shouldn't be thinking about trying to outshine and trying to outbox the boxer. You know what I'm saying? Let's do what we know how to do and get this win. And we'll work on developing our, savvy boxing IQ skills a little bit later. But for right now, it's too much on the line. Let's go ahead and etch this win out, So although he may throw it back in his corner's, responsibility bag, even though he says, I take responsibility, it's kind of a contradiction, because in one end, you know, he'll allude to it's his corner's fault, and then another end he'll say, well, I'm not blaming anybody, I'm taking it, I'm this, that, and the third. I think at the end of the day, he was just jealous of what was being said about Alexander Usyk, and he wanted to go in there and prove that he's just as a good a boxer or better. You know what I'm saying? And basically trying to outshine him at his own game wasn't smart. And that's what he went in there trying to do. But to add on top of that, not only did he have that mentality, but the mentality is he actually thought so much of Usyk himself that the most that he requested of himself was to go 12 rounds. That's the wrong kind of mentality for somebody who sits as high up as he does in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Especially with all that hardware. That's the wrong kind of mentality to have. You just wanted to go 12 rounds with the guy? That's it? You didn't want to hurt him? You didn't want to stop him? You didn't want to knock him out? You didn't want to, you know? So that's why people say that the Robert Garcia thing, that doesn't mean anything if you don't got the mentality. And that's what I understand. Like, Anthony Joshua has to change the way he looks at himself. Now, he has to change the way he looks at himself, because he played himself short going in there fighting like he fought. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have the confidence that he should have in himself. He has the record. He has the body of work. You know what I'm saying? He has the physical ability. My thing is about Anthony Joshua, he should be way more confident in himself than what he is. When I look at Anthony Joshua and some of his stumbling blocks in boxing, I just look at him like, these are areas that you should be confident in by now. It's like he don't believe what he has done. Like, he can't look back and look at what he's done and say, okay, I'm confident that I can do these kind of things and that kind of thing. It's like he's still second guessing himself. Even with as much as he has done in the heavyweight division, he is still second guessing himself. And that Andy Ruiz, you know what I'm saying, knock over the head only made it worse. So at the end of the day, it's the mentality that he's going to have to conquer. The mentality is more important than all that training he puts in, because let's face it, Anthony Joshua trains better than he fights. The way he trains, you would think when he step into the ring, you know what I'm saying, he'll be like Thanos or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I seen him have more aggression in training than in some of his fights. But like I said before, he's gonna have to go into this fight the same way he went into with Dillian White, the same way he was feeling with Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Some things sometimes you need those things, and he needs to have a sense of urgency about himself. You know, and now his back is against the wall. It seems like he loved having the most pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? So now his back against the wall. He got to pull off a win. Most people say he should treat this fight like an 8-round, 6-round fight, you know, and go in there for the knockout. When all Anthony Joshua was going to do is what he should have done in the first fight. That didn't take no changing up trainers to do that, you know. And he goes on talking about, you know, how he thought he was boxing like Muhammad Ali. And he didn't think that he was losing. That might be another problem. You know what I'm saying? I understand that you don't see everything in your corner. Got to tell you what's going on and how stuff is looking to a certain extent. But he should have known at some point in time that, you know, that he's behind. Now, this is the other thing. People talk about the fight like Anthony Joshua just blew out the box. He wasn't blew out the box. He got outboxed, yes. But Anthony Joshua actually wasn't blew out. At the end of the day, one of the things that I still see that's a big problem with Anthony Joshua is stamina issues. Anthony Joshua still don't know what weight he's supposed to come in at. Anthony Joshua still don't know his fighting weight. I've been paying attention to Anthony Joshua's weight this entire time that he's been boxing. He came into the Klitschko fight way too fat. Way too fat. You know what I'm saying? The only weight that he got right, to me, whatever weight he came in and fought Andy Ruiz in the rematch, that's his fighting weight. He don't need to go nothing above that. That's his fighting weight right there. That's the best weight, fighting weight I've seen Anthony Joshua come in at. is right there. You know, and I would say the most strongest I've seen him in a fight, cut up rip, would be the one with him and Dillian White. But the Andy Ruiz rematch fight, that's the weight that he's supposed to come in at. And he has to understand that about himself too. Because as the fight goes on, he's going to be more vulnerable. And he needs to get his stamina under control. To get that under control, he needs to find out what is his fighting weight. Anthony Joshua needs to be 232 at best. That's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get away with 240 and all that other stuff, but 232, 230. That's his fighting weight. That's where he's going to move the best. That's where he's still going to be limber. He's still going to have his flexibility. He's still going to have his mobility. He's still going to be able to move around. He's still going to be able to have some power. That's his fighting weight. You know, but you've seen he came into a very important fight like Klitschko, which is a very important fight in his career. And he came in there. I know there's no weight he has to make, or anybody has to make in a heavyweight division, but he came into that Klitschko fight way too damn heavy. You know, and he got tired once again. So that's something that he's gonna have to work on. But first of all, he has to have the right mindset. And if you went into the first fight just expecting to go 12 rounds, I'm wondering what is the mindset that he's expecting of himself right now. Because if he's not expecting a stoppage, then to me, he's already lost. I'm not saying it's that you must knock him out, but it's best for you to be able to knock him out and not try to go 12 rounds with somebody who can outbox you. That's just my thoughts on this for now. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Van, I'm out.